We're going to start our conversation with Marvel, that they dominated the last decade. Just like in a way, like nobody has dominated at the box office the way Marvel did last decade. But generally speaking, people feel like phases 4 and 5 definitely rockier than phases 1 through 3. How are you feeling about the future of Marvel?
I am optimistic. I'm probably more optimistic than I have been probably in the last couple of years because I really enjoyed Thunderbolts. And I really enjoyed Fantastic Four. But prior to that, I was kind of in the same boat as everyone else where I felt like the quality was kind of declining. It didn't seem like they knew or they had like an in-mind trajectory. And the one that we got with Kang and Jonathan Majors like fell off. And so now it's already been revealed to us that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be taking over as Dr. Doom in this sort of multiversal thing that we're going to be seeing. On one hand, it's nice to see RDJ come back, but on the other hand, it's like, is this sort of a Hail Mary attempt to get original fans back onto the scene? And with Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four specifically, both of those movies, I would say, were really good and sort of I don't want to say a return to formula because they were different, particularly Thunderbolts and like the themes of depression and kind of dealing with that. But they just underperformed. And so is that a sign that the general audiences are pretty much over it? Like the goodwill of Marvel is gone. And but I am hopeful because both of those movies were good. I just hope that Marvel doesn't take a note and say, okay, maybe we need to do something different. I hope that they'll look at at least the reviews, both critical and audience, and say, we're just having to build this momentum up again, just like what we did with Iron Man and Thor and Captain America to go to Avengers, and just to keep the progress of where they're going. So I am looking forward to it. But I think I'm just cautiously optimistic, as a lot of fans, I think, are right now.
Yeah, that's a lot of the way that I feel about it. That I guess a year and a half, 2 years ago, they basically went, man, things have been rough recently. And they kind of did a big pause last year where they only had one movie come out. They pushed several shows back and they tried to course correct. And, some of that was doing reshoots for Captain America 4. I think that was just always a troubled production that was never going to be as good as they hoped it would be. But then Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four felt like, this feels like we turned the corner. This feels like what the MCU used to be like. That it has the MCU-isms, but they have their own flavor. And in particular with Thunderbolts, it felt like it was a movie that was actually about something, like a real movie.
Yeah.
Tackling themes and stuff and bringing in outside influences. And then even Fantastic Four, on a story level, maybe more straightforward, but that it had just the production design and the world building was really cool. And so it felt like I was excited about the MCU in a way that I haven't been in a long time.
Yeah.
They've had successful movies over the last several years, and I really enjoyed Deadpool and Wolverine. But even that it's like a very superficial version of entertainment because it's like, hey, look who's back.
Right.
And so in that regard, I'm excited. I feel like they learned a lot of lessons from Phase 4, and they realized they made mistakes, and they made changes. That's good. But the big thing coming out is these Avengers movies. And like, to me, I see it and I see the Hail Mary that you said. Like, I see this doesn't feel like what Infinity War felt like, which was a franchise firing on all cylinders with characters I'm invested in, plot lines I understand, and the crescendo of everything we've been working towards. It's none of that. It's, hey, remember who directed the last Avengers movie? Hey, remember the star of the last the first three phases? Hey, remember the X-Men? Hey, remember? And it's just a whole bunch of that.
Yeah.
And so to me, people keep like, even this report came out this last week. The guy playing Nightcrawler said, I shot all my scenes in isolation and I didn't know who I was talking to. And people are like, well, that's how they shot Infinity War. Well, it's not exactly the same thing. Infinity War was not a guy that hasn't played Nightcrawler in 20 years coming back to act in front of a green screen. It was Doctor Strange, who had just started a movie acting against the stars of the MCU. Like, they're not one-to-one.
Right.
And also that was the MCU when it was in its prime and everything was working versus like right now where it's like things aren't working. We know this is a course correction. And where course correction is, let's get the hero of the last phases or last saga to be the villain. that is some soap opera crap right there. Like that is a ha look who it is. It's evil Tony Stark. And so it's just a final thought. Like as much as like I hope it's great. The Russos have a great track record, but this is not. They do not have the prep work and the setup that they had going into Infinity War or Civil War or Endgame.
Yeah, I think that there's almost an irony in what you're saying, because I agree that there's this sort of Hail Mary attempt. It almost reminds me of when the first Avengers came out and then Warner Brothers was trying to catch up and they prematurely did Justice League without properly establishing their Batman at the very least, certainly their Wonder Woman in that universe, just to try to compete. And in a way, I feel like this phase of Marvel going into the next Avengers movies is in a lot of ways like that, where they're trying to kind of play catch up. They basically had to drop a lot of their establishing stuff with Kang. I heard that they were maybe going to bring him back. I don't know how true that is, but I'm just assuming that they're not. So they're playing catch up. They want to bring back the old, as you said, look who directed this, and you remember RDJ. And now, on one hand, I do have a lot of faith in those directors. I think that they did Winter Soldier, which was great, and they did the Avengers movie. They were all good. So I'm hoping that, hey, remember those directors is also going to be, hey, they're qualified to fix this. As I hope, kind of the regard. But I want them to succeed. That's the other thing. Like I really want it to be good, and I don't know if they're going to stick the landing. So I'm cautiously optimistic. But boy, am I rooting for them.
Yeah. And as one final thought, like I had people on the internet being like, "How can you not excited for the Avengers, X-Men, and Fantastic Four to be together?" It's like, well, I mean, I don't even know who the Avengers are. We don't know who the team is. Like, we know who the new Avengers are, but it's not the same thing as that classic OG lineup: Tony Stark, Thor, Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye. Like, it's not them teaming up with the classic X-Men.
Right.
So it's just not the same thing. Like, and I think that's the piece to it of like that setup that what makes the Avengers teaming up with the X-Men exciting is if these teams are established and I'm excited for them. And that's not the case at the moment. So I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's amazing, but it just feels desperate.